Good afternoon, world. How's it going? Let's get all set up for today. My hair's doing something funny right now. Okay. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Getting through the week. My apologies for no stream yesterday. I had some technical difficulties with my brain. We're still not out of the woodworks yet, but we are feeling better. So we are gonna push through and work on it. Let me check and see if I can do this from the comfort of my own home. From my own home, from my phone. Let's see if this works. Perfect. It'll be easier for me to do that instead of stretching out across the keyboard. So that prompt there is actually the pattern we are working on today. We're starting something new. We're doing something a little bit different outside of our cryptid situation. They're still there. They're still kicking around. We will finish our chupacabra at some point. But this felt a little more important, so we're gonna do this instead. So it'll be cool though, because this will be like essentially starting from scratch, so I can walk everyone through how I go about starting a pattern, starting a new project. I've already kind of prepped a little bit. I've started prepping, but we will do a little bit more from there. So this is going to be interesting. So the way this works is the pattern itself, it gives the specifications. So I'm using 14 count Aida cloth. I'm using white, 14 count white Aida cloth. And so it was a trick that I found. It's like, I guess some people prefer it, some people don't, but in order to decrease the fraying that happens on the sides of your Aida cloth, I just put some masking tape down on them, cover both sides, and then that way that stops that. I guess if it's on there for a long period of time, it can get really like gummy and sticky, so some people don't like that. But we're probably gonna cut off the excess of this anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. What I am worried about, I did measure this. So the finished product is meant to be like 4 inches squared. So I'm using this little chunk here, and by the calculations, it should very well fit on this square. But I always get a little bit nervous. I don't know what it is. I tend to be really bad at like measuring things accurately. I'm not quite sure why. But yeah. So today we're just drinking some Smuggler's Brew, some black tea blend. Just because I need that extra caffeine. I have recently consumed a granola bar. Puppo is sleeping down there. He has been a huge pain in the butt the last few days, but he is calm now, which is good. These are the colors we are using today. So we got our DMC 796, 701, 666, the number of the beast, 444, the number of something else, and our classic 310 black. And because I have 2 projects on the go right now, all of my thread organizers are actually out of commission. So I just like very quickly made one. So I have all of these Alice in Wonderland postcards. And I have like just different shape hole punches. So I was like, well, I might as well just take one of these cards, hole punch a couple stars in them, and then I can just use this as my thread organizer. So that's what we're gonna do today. So before I start a project, I'll get my thread out, pick my colors. This will be this is like the smallest hoop that I own. I picked one up the other day. It's super cute. So we'll be using this bad boy. And then before we start, I will prep the thread that we need. And the pattern is actually based off of traditional Ukrainian embroidery patterns. So with those, there's like each like symbols and colors in traditional Ukrainian embroidery have symbolic meaning. So there's different color associations with that. I might actually pull up the pattern explanation in addition to the pattern that I have, just so I can run through them as we work on it together. And then we'll also go over, I'm gonna try something different. So traditionally when I will do a cross stitch, I will start from the center and work my way out. And I will do that for the most part with this, but I want to try, because this looks very similar to Ukrainian embroidery, it also looks very similar to Ukrainian Easter eggs or pesenka. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. My great-grandparents were Ukrainian, and so my grandpa was trying to, like, when my grandpa was born in Canada, he was obviously born to immigrant parents, and so he didn't actually know how to speak English until I think he was 8. So his childhood his childhood language was Ukrainian. So last time I visited him, I was trying to learn I was using Duolingo, which he was very, like, he guffawed at their learning style and how they were teaching me, because it didn't really cover the actual basic pronunciation. And I kept pronouncing pesenka wrong. I kept pronouncing I put the wrong emphasis on the right syllables. So I don't know if it's pesenka, pesenki. I'm pretty sure it's probably still wrong, but my interpretation of what he told me, it's pesenka, or Ukrainian Easter eggs. So I actually have this book. It's the Kid's Guide to Ukrainian Easter Egg Decorating. It's something that I took with me when I moved, because growing up, this was something that we did as a family. We also, like every Ukrainian heritage family, has Ukrainian Easter eggs on display in their house. And so these books kind of walk you through different patterns and how they work. And so I had the idea of, because this pattern that we're going to work on together is very similar in traditional embroidery style to some of the patterns and things on the pesenka, I was actually going to do them in order that I would on the Ukrainian Easter egg. So the way that you make a Ukrainian Easter egg is you have a pattern. Either, usually when you're first starting out, you draw out the components that you want, and then you take this thing. Apparently, according to this book, it is called a kitki, which is, I have it too. I brought them. It's this thing. So it's a little tool that you heat up this point. It looks like it's made out of brass, actually. So you heat it up, and then you sink the heated point into a chunk of beeswax, and it fills this little container, like crevice in here, with beeswax. And so any color that you want to stay on the Easter egg, you outline, or you essentially color it in with beeswax before you stick it in the various dyes that you're going to be using. So let's say, for instance, you're drawing here. I'll walk you through it via this book. So yeah, like here, you're starting with like a pattern. Here you sort of like draw it out, and then there are sections you want to stay white. So the base of an Easter egg at least for the most part, is a white egg. And so you're like, okay, the sections I want to be white. I fill up my kitsuki with beeswax and I outline this pattern on here in the beeswax in white. So you do that till you're happy with it, and then you dunk it in the yellow dye. So therefore, all of the things you previously beeswaxed over will stay white while the rest of the egg then turns yellow, and you just continue doing that until you have all of the colors and all of the different pieces in beeswax that are covered. And then you take a candle and you melt the beeswax off of the egg and wipe it down, and it reveals all of the colors underneath it. So that's how it works. And so you are meant to do it in, I think it's like kind of lightest to darkest, which makes sense. Some of these are a little bit like difficult for me because I'm like, okay, is blue darker than red? Like, I'm not entirely sure. So I actually found a pattern that has the colors here that we're going to be using today. For the most part, and so we'll go in that color order. Yeah, this seems right. Yeah, so here we have yellow, green, then orange, red, blue, and then that's it. So kind of very similar to this. So I'm going to pop this to the side so we don't forget. And then I'm going to attempt to fill the stitches in that order, in order from lightest to darkest, like we are dyeing a Ukrainian Easter egg. But instead of that, we're stitching it. So that's my plan. Yeah. So we can also too, if you wanted, if you guys want, we can always go over like the folklore associated with Pasinka, and things like that. I also have, I'll pop them in. There's a few Google Docs going around that might be of interest to people. So I will pop them in here now. And then the other one here is there, I believe. Yeah, perfect. So we got those in there for you. And then we'll prep for now, and then we'll get started. We'll pick the needle minder we want to use for this project because we have many, many different ones. Most of them are Disney princesses. So we'll pick who we would like to come on this journey with us. So this pattern, apparently, I was reading up a little bit about it because it was somebody posted it and it was a blog, and I guess the guy who created this pattern is actually, where's my stuff? A Buddhist monk. This guy, Antony Galbraith, is a Buddhist monk and like artist. So yeah, so he created this Ukrainian solidarity stitch along with the intention that people are stitching with intent. And you know, while we stitch, we will be envisioning peace and an end to conflict, and you know, support for people experiencing hardship right now. That's what we're gonna do today. And drink some tea while we're at it. It was really funny because I was rereading the history of Pasenke, and I remember growing up we had an unfinished basement in our house for years, and so anytime, like when we were in kindergarten and stuff, you know, you make like giant paintings, like giant just pictures and stuff, and it'd be like, what you did today, and they were pretty like decent, like I don't know, not like A4, like bigger than A4 paper. And so they were just kind of stapled all over the beams in our unfinished basement. And my brother actually did a project about the history or like the folklore around the Ukrainian Easter egg and how it's related to this demon that's chained to the side of a hill. And like I feel like later on part of me was kind of like that doesn't seem right. But then apparently as I was rereading, it's actually legit. Let me pull this up and we will okay. And I'll read you the legend or the superstition about it. Yeah. So, this is all according to Wikipedia, but my brother did a project on it, so I don't know. Maybe it's still accurate. So, the Hutzels, a group of Russians who lived in the Carpathian Mountains in western Ukraine. This is not Russians, it's like Russians. In the Carpathian Mountains around in western Ukraine, believed that the fate of the world depended upon the Pesenka. As long as the egg writing custom continues, the world will exist. If for any reason the custom is abandoned, evil in the shape of a horrible serpent who is forever chained to a cliff will overrun the world. Each year, the serpent sends out his minions to see how many Pesenka or Pesenki have been written. If the number is low, the serpent's chains are loosened and he is free to wander the earth, causing havoc and destruction. If, on the other hand, the number of Pesenki has increased, the chains are tightened and good triumphs over evil for yet another year. So, we are using a different medium to combat the serpent chained to the hill. Naturally, too, like within the construct of like Christianity and things, obviously this has kind of been rebranded as the Ukrainian Easter egg. Easter associated with, well, originally pagan holiday Ostara, but now sort of like Christian beliefs attach the egg to Easter celebration, naturally why it's called the Easter egg. Yeah. So this legend here associated with Christian beliefs says that there's a story about how the Virgin Mary gave eggs to soldiers at the cross. She entreated them to be less cruel to her son and wept, and the tears of Mary fell on the eggs, spotting them with dots of brilliant color. That could just be about Easter eggs in general, though. Not necessarily about the Pesenka. Pesenka. My grandpa's going to be so mad at me. What's this? Another legend tells of when Mary Magdalene went to this sepulchre to anoint the body of Jesus. She had with her a basket of eggs to serve as a repast. When she arrived at the sepulchre and uncovered the eggs, pure white shells had miraculously taken on a rainbow of colors. Common legend tells of the peddler who helped Jesus carry his cross on the way to Calvary. He left his goods at the side of the road, and when he returned, the eggs had turned into an intricately decorated Pesenki. So there you go. There's like traditional legend folklore. And then it talks about spiritual and folk beliefs. It's actually kind of interesting because now I'm just like reading this. You realize how it's almost like, because it has here like each village in Ukraine and the families have their own special rituals and symbols that they pass down for generation when you decorate Pesenka. So this is sort of like Eastern European witchcraft in a way, which I am all about. So I don't know, it'd be interesting. I wonder if my grandparents would be okay with me saying that Pesenka is witchcraft. I wonder how they would feel about that. They actually might appreciate it because my grandpa, his dad was a Ukrainian Orthodox minister. And so, I don't know. From the sounds of it, he doesn't talk about it a lot, but I feel like there's like, I don't know, some like childhood religious trauma stuff. Because as a adult, I've never known him to have any sort of religious, spiritual beliefs or of like that sort of faith. So I think he really rejected that. So he might be down if I said that this was witchcraft. Who knows? I'm hopefully going to be going to see them in April, actually around Easter. And I know my grandma keeps telling my mom that she wants to give me some of their pasenka to take home. So I might arrive with I might come back with some very intricately decorated eggs for the house, which according to Wikipedia is going to keep us safe. So I'm okay with that. I'm down with that. Okay, so we've started. We have our floss colors. I'll actually do a little bit more yellow. Oh, excuse me. And we'll go through, according to Antony, his research about traditional Ukrainian embroidery and pasenke. He has stated that these colors here have the following meanings. So the yellow is for well-being, joy, and vital energy. The blue is for healing and spiritual calm and protects those that are most vulnerable. Red is the life energy, love, and joy. White, which is going to be our Ada cloth, represents innocence and purity. And then green is youth, beauty, and calm. And then black stands for the earth, wealth, and well-being. So now that we have those, I have to make the interesting choice of trying to find the center of this and then actually starting this pattern completely off center, because the first colors outside of the white that we're using are red. Actually are yellow, but the center ones are black and red. And so I need to go outside of that center and start with the yellow. So that will be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Let me just... It's also not gridded the best. So if I'm doing a lot of this, it's like trying to make sense of things. I'm really enjoying my fox needle minder. I don't know, something about him just makes me very happy. So he will be the chosen one. The next step is sort of finding the center of the pattern. Actually, we'll keep him off for now. It kind of, usually what ends up happening is I kind of like fold it and pinch it, especially because this particular Ada from Hobbycraft is like really starchy. So I can sort of fold it and have it hold its shape. Ow! Cool. First stab of the stream. It's bound to happen. Okay. So according to this, that is the center, but I kind of call... no, I kind of call a little bit of bullshit. If I'm honest, I think... No? Oh no, maybe it is. Sure. Yeah, you guys can see the needle here. We will deem this the center. And actually, this is gonna be, I haven't done this in a while because usually, oh no. It looks like I'm choking myself out on this. I'm not, I promise. I'm just gonna put a little pencil dot because the center is gonna be black is going to be 310 anyway. So it's not going to show up. If we just kind of mark this. Okay. So there's our center. Let's pop her in the hoop. And we'll go from there. And we will try to not stab ourselves again for the remainder of stream. To loosen that a little bit more. That's the other thing too, like this is why I mark this, because by the time I'm like, this is the center, and then I like faff about with the hoop, it's like already a problem. I'm like, I don't know where it is. So we're gonna listen here, you stupid hoop. Ooh. I think it's because this is so small. And they, okay. Okay, let us try again. Come on. There we go. Whew. Think again, like this is so starchy that it's not cooperating to the best of its abilities. Okay, here we go. Step, I guess it's not really step 1, but like step 5. There we go. So now I need to figure out where I'm gonna start with this yellow thread, because it is not in the center. We're going in order of if this were a Ukrainian Easter egg or a pesenka, how you would go in order of how you would dye the egg. So let's just pretend this is an egg. We took our, I'm gonna keep pronouncing it wrong, but our kitski, this little guy here, we have dipped it in the proverbial beeswax and coated all of the sections of white that we would like to leave. And now we are going to dip our egg into the yellow dye. And then once we do that, we will symbolically beeswax it and then dip it into the next color, which I believe will be red. Oh, green. Green will be the next color. Green will be the next one. Yeah, I don't know why my brain, I think because I'm so used to working on like, in terms of warm and cool colors. So like, I don't know, if you look at these, like, would you feel that green is the next lightest? I guess so. Because red looks so much brighter, but necessarily brightness and lightness are not the same thing. So that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, this is a complete experiment in terms of the order of how I usually do my cross stitch. Usually I'll start in the center and work my way out, swapping colors. Half the time too, I swap colors because I get bored. So we will also see how this goes. Let me check what so we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 up, 3 over. So 1, 2, 3, 4 up, 1, 2, 3 over, I believe. Let me just double check. 3, 4 up, and then 1, 2, and then on the 3. So from our little pencil guy, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then yep. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna start here and see how that goes. This looks like it's almost like a picture of the actual cross stitch itself, which, yeah, it doesn't make it like super, super clear, but we are gonna work with it. So let me just go boop. Oh, I can't see that. I'm like trying to find a color that I think would show up if I tried to mark everything. And that is not the color. Let's do a brown. Okay. There we go. So now we will work our way up. The other thing that's interesting about this pattern too is it's actually, which is similar to like in traditional embroidery and the pasenka, where it's like very mirrory. So each kind of quadrant of this cross stitch will mirror itself. So it's like we're taking one section and we're gonna like flip it all the different ways to give it the same pattern each side. But, well, we're not gonna do that because we're going in color order. And then we'll see. I don't know, it's a small picture. Like this looks like, and again, because I'm really terrible at guessing how long things are gonna take, I'm like, oh, okay, like this, you know, we can maybe finish by the end of stream, considering that stream is we're already halfway into stream. I don't know if that will happen, but we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Stitching with intent, sending positive vibes. Again, this low-key feels like witchcraft, which I love, is perfect, is excellent. Okay. Just have a nice chill sesh. It's very, I need to work on like lighting this space a little bit better because you guys can't really see. Like you can, but I feel like it's very shadowy. And not. No. This light isn't like, I need one from like both sides. It's lighting really well over here, but that's not where we need the light. I almost need like one on the other side, but that's all right. Okay. I think I just need to scooch myself over. Make sure you guys can see what's going on. What's going on? We have cranked the tunes up because I was informed that you guys really even couldn't hear them. So now, hopefully you can hear the tunes, and hopefully the tunes are to your liking. So that's what we're gonna do. Spent the morning reorganizing the our like DVD, Blu-ray video game collection, because we inherited when we moved in. The woman that we bought the place from, because she was downsizing, left us a bunch of her old furniture because we were moving from a flat, like a 1-bed flat, into a 3-bed house. She was like, we didn't have a lot of stuff, and because she was downsizing, she's like, well, like if you like pay me for it, I'll leave some of it behind. And so we ended up inheriting this like TV display unit. And what kind of ended up happening is because like our nephew would come over, and that was sort of like his height, and we didn't really have any other space for toys and stuff. That's just kind of where all this stuff got stooshed, like board games, toys, all these kinds of things, and it was really messy. And then we got 2 towers to go either side of that unit beside the TV, where we put then all of our DVDs and stuff. But we're in the process of trying to like move things out of like display cabinets in other places to then theoretically like get rid of them and stuff like that. So I wanted to reorganize so that the towers either side of the TV could be a space for some of those board games, and then the DVDs, and then we'd put like the toys and stuff in like a few different places. So I spent the morning doing that. I'm not sure if it's perfect, but the one thing that I'm super excited about, I'm going to be like super, you know, organizationally nerdy for a second, because the shelf is kind of like 2 DVDs width deep. It didn't really make sense to, like, it made sense to kind of double stack them, but of course now you can't actually see all the DVDs behind the other one. So I decided that I haven't done it yet, but I want to make a spreadsheet list of all of the DVDs and the DVDs, which are movies, TV shows, and then video games. Make a spreadsheet list of all of the ones that we have, and then tape that to the door, the inside of it, so that when we open it up, like, we actually know what's in there, so we don't have to try to guess or think about like what's behind them. Because the problem is, if you can't see something right in front of you, you don't always necessarily know that it's there. So it would just be nice, I don't know, for me, from an organizational standpoint, to like see those things and know what's going on. So yeah, that is the plan. And then also as well to indicate, so it'll be the title, the type it is, whether it's a DVD, movie, probably the year as well, just because I'm extra like that, and then also what region it is, because I brought a bunch of DVDs with me when I moved, and then we've also acquired a few different ones. Like, for instance, I've been talking about how I got the animated Beetlejuice series that had to be imported from a different country, so it has a different regional code. So then, like, let's say if people did want to borrow some of the movies that we have to make sure that if they want to rent one, like want to take one from us, if it is region 2 or region 1, sorry, which is the Canadian region, that they have a DVD player that can accommodate that. Because obviously you can get region free DVD players. That's one of the ones that we have. But not everybody has one of those. So I don't want to like let someone borrow a movie just for them to be like, it doesn't work. So yeah, so I'm hoping to do that. I think that'll be tomorrow's pre-stream job, because obviously Thursday we're going to be doing our needle felting stream. So yeah, and that is, yeah, so I want to do that, just organize, just slowly get a handle on things, because we've been having our garage redone for, I guess, like a month now, 2 months now, and everything's kind of at a standstill. The back end is done, but the door of the garage can't be installed until April, which means that all of the stuff can't go back in there until after that point. So everything is still a little bit displaced, so it's feeling still a little bit like chaotic. So just trying to restore a little bit of calm and peace. Hi. Is it Honey? Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks. Yeah, this is the current project I'm working on. I actually, too, added... Here, I'll give this to you. So this is a link to the actual... I think if it works. Yeah. There's a link to the actual pattern that I'm working on if you wanted to get that pattern for yourself. And yeah, thank you. They are, okay. Hannah, or Hanny. Okay. Hanny. I like that. My nails are chameleon coat. They're a multi-chrome, so they shift, and then I covered them in sparkles. So thank you. I'm glad. I did some before that were sort of like meant to be Valentine's themed nails, but they kind of looked a little serial killery. So I much prefer these ones. These are much nicer. But yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're here. I know I need to go back. I think is Makerbug streaming again today? Yes, I am Canadian. I'm Canadian, living in the UK for almost 5 years now. Yeah, I do think it's really funny. So a friend of mine here is like obsessed with Canadian stereotypes, and he found a TikToker who he just pictures as being like the quintessential Canadian. And I Googled where this guy was from, and he's actually from Michigan. So I do think that there's a lot of parallels to that. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So I'll have to pop by her after stream if she's still around. But yeah, he was low-key devastated to find out that his epitome of Canadian wasn't actually Canadian. But like you said, Michigan's pretty close. There's some comparative similarities, I think. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So the project that I'm working on, I'm actually trying to cross stitch it the same way I would if I was decorating a Ukrainian Easter egg. So with this is like a traditional sort of Ukrainian embroidery pattern, but it has a very like similar pattern to Pesinka, which is Ukrainian Easter eggs. And so when you do a Ukrainian Easter egg, you dye them a bunch of different colors, and you have to do them in order of lightest to darkest. So that's what I'm trying to do for this cross stitch. I'm gonna stitch the colors from lightest to darkest, which isn't usually how I do things. I usually start from the center and just work my way out. So this will be a little bit more complicated because I'll be counting a lot more because I won't just seamlessly be jumping into different things. But yeah. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I don't know exactly where. I think I just was Googling like I think he did a charity donation to somewhere for some like wildlife sanctuary thing, and so I was looking about where that was, and then I think it was sort of like Upper Michigan, because his videos are all about like camping and making like little, what is it his whole thing is he's all very quiet and he wears his plaid and he's like, hey buddy, I'm up here making a snack for all my friends, just have a nice time here in my cabin. And now that I think about it, like, yeah, he probably sounds more like from Michigan than from Canada, but yeah, it was great. His content is still great. I don't actually remember what his name is. I'm not on the TikToks. I just got them sent to me. All right, so we are 1, 2, 3, 4 lines in. 2, 3, 4 lines in. Wait, 1, 2. Okay. Oh, yeah, MakerBug is live now. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's really cool, though. I feel like the variety of accents, like there's a much more varied accent, like a lot more accent variation in the US than there is in Canada. I think there's like maybe 3 sort of like accent dialects I find, whereas I feel like in the States there's so many more. Even in the UK, like I find that there's so many different variations in dialects here, whereas like unless you are French Canadian or from like Newfoundland, like from the coast, like those are the only kind of 3 that I've noticed. So yeah, but whereas like there's just so many unique variations of accents in Canada, like to the point where I feel like, I guess maybe a good way to indicate it is how many different like movies there are that like take place in America, and there are all these different ones. Yeah. Oh, so you have the very distinct Canadian accent, yeah? There's a very distinct one. Where I grew up, there was a large Francophone community. And so they have a very big accent, and they talk sort of like this. That's awesome. I took French class until the 10th grade, and then it was too complicated for me, so I stopped. Which is a shame, because there was always such an emphasis to us, especially like in Canada, that it's a real asset, like on the job market, if you are bilingual, if you can speak both French and English. In the UK, it doesn't really matter as much, though to be fair, I think in the UK it's more like if you speak any additional languages, that's probably really good. Oh, okay. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so the accent isn't as far pronounced, but you know exactly what accent I'm talking about, don't you? No, I didn't consider that this tiny hoop would make tucking my thread a little more difficult. Okay. I might actually need, I don't know if, I think the next biggest hoop that I have is too big. I think we just need to relax this guy a little bit, because it's making it difficult for me to, there we go. I'll be able to shuffle it around a little bit more, or else it's gonna be a pain in the arse. I have to bust out. Where is my threader? I think. Here's one of them. I definitely have another one somewhere on my desk, but this one is here, so we'll use this one. Okay. Aw, thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Hanny. Enjoy your chores. I hope they go well. Yeah, we'll keep working away here. Fingers crossed we get a good chunk done, and hopefully I'll see you later. Okay, let us pop in here. Yeah, I think as much as I don't know what my hang up is with using the needle minder or the threader. I don't know why I have issue with it, but I think it will be our best friend during this time with this teeny tiny hoop. There we go. Oh yeah, I don't know. I made my own thread organizer out of a postcard and a hole punch because my other thread organizers are currently occupied with other projects. So they're gonna be in there for a while. Now, the key here will also be that I don't get bored of the same color, because I've spoken about it before with people who they'll do all their black work first before they start filling stuff in, and the progression of the picture looks really cool of the cross stitch pattern, but I sometimes get bored, especially when I'm working on a big project, so I'll almost purposely switch colors as a way to keep myself entertained. But if we're doing this Besenka style, we need to go from light to dark. That's just the way we have to do it. So we will see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. just check to make sure. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Luckily, luckily / hopefully, because this is like a mirror image pattern, once I sort of know what I'm doing with one section, it'll be quite easy to sort of like just kind of mindlessly go through it, because a lot of times I might just be stitching along and then I'll realize that I'm like completely off base and I've stitched too much or I haven't stitched enough, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Uh-oh, we got a knot. Usually these are just slip knots, and if you just like, you don't want to hurt the floss, but like if you just pull, like flatten everything out and just kind of pull it, it'll untangle itself. The worst though is when it's not a loop knot and you pull it tight to try to unloop it, and then it's like, haha, sucker, I'm a real knot, now I've just gotten tighter. That's always a bitch. But luckily that wasn't the case. Usually it happens more on the back of your work, which isn't a huge deal. Like I was working on something the other day and I noticed that I got like this weird kind of loop thing in here. And as long as it kind of stays in place, it doesn't matter. It's only if you get knots and shit on the front of your project, obviously, because people will see them. But it's almost like if you accidentally get a knot and you don't realize it, it's actually gonna mess up your project more if you try to unknot it from the back, because then it's gonna make some of the stitches a lot looser. So it just helps to leave it in there. If you're worried about it kind of unraveling later on, just sort of like making sure when you're stitching, you kind of like stitch back over it and it sort of keeps it in place so it won't move and mess up your stitches. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. So we're working on the last one. So here we're going to be doing like a star pattern, which is like a flower pattern. It's quite common, I find, in Ukrainian embroidery and in Pesinka. You can actually see them on this pattern here. Like these little guys here is sort of very similar to what we're doing right now. So according to Anthony in his research, so some of the symbols, I assume this symbol is going to be a star, because it doesn't necessarily indicate flowers in here. So if we're going off the fact that this is a star, that stands for strength and serves as a protection from disease and evil. So we are essentially weaving a protection spell. And because it's yellow, stands for well-being, joy, and vital energy, which kind of makes sense. So you're sending vital energy and protection from disease with intentionally creating a star in your embroidery piece / cross-stitch piece / Ukrainian Easter egg. Okey-dokes. Let's finish the first section here, and now we're essentially mimicking it. We're doing like parallel strokes. So we will start the second one. because we already did this way, I'm aware that it is 5 lines. Well, 5 stitches per line, and there will be 6 lines. Yeah. So that should make it a bit easier for us to pump out. Pump out the jam, pump it up. Once we do this part, it'll be interesting to see where we're gonna go next with this pattern, because yeah, it should be good. Should be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Popo is having a snooze, which is excellent. I think I might need to start taking him for 2 WALKs a day, because he is just has a lot of excess energy and like doesn't know what to do with himself in the morning. We have a bell on the door to our backyard that he rings when he wants to go outside, but sometimes he just uses it like for attention. He doesn't actually want to go out like because he has to go to the bathroom. He just likes to stick his nose out the door and like sniff the air or like be nosy and stuff. And in the summer it's fine because we can just like leave the door open all the time, but because it's cold and rainy in February, well, I guess it's March now. Jesus, it's March now. Cold, rainy in March, like it's too cold for that shit. So he yeah, it can be a little bit frustrating. So I'm hoping, or I'm speculating, that if he goes for a mini WALK in the morning and then one in the afternoon before stream, then he will be a little more content. The only fear with that, though, is that if we're doing 2 little ones instead of a big one, that he might not snooze for as long during stream. So there is potential risk for shenanigans in the afternoon, but we won't know unless we try. So we will see. This kind of looks like a chevron, just kind of like an arrow, a little bit like an arrowhead, a tiny bit. Jeez, I feel like time is flying by. I'm gonna try. I always say try because sometimes, you know, it takes longer than I think, and when I start getting hangry, I can't focus anymore. But I'm gonna try to at least get all of the yellow components of our cross stitch done today. That is the plan. Whether or not it happens, we are not sure, but we will do our very best. Hang on, excuse me. There we go. Just like staring at it, just trying to feel for the hole for it to get back into. And sometimes we can't find it. Go. 1, 2, 2, 4 on the 5th, on the 5, on the 5. There we go. Halfway done this side of the chevron. It's really nice, like kind of switch from the cryptid, because it obviously, like, it's amazing. I love it. But this is just so, like, just primary, like, bright primary colors. I feel like I don't have, you know, the current projects I'm working on. To be fair, though, the 90s baby one I'm working on is quite bright, but it's not, I don't know, this is just a really bright and colorful piece, which is a nice change from the 310 heavy cryptid stitch along. Park that there, we're halfway done. And then we will knock on all the wood, but think my brain is in a decent position that we should be able to stream tomorrow, where we'll be working on our needle felting and we'll finally finish our little dormouse. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the lid, because I do want a lid on the teapot. But I don't have the lilac color anymore. So, but here he is. I'm super happy with how he turned out. But we gotta finish his body. Finish the lower half of him. And then once we've done that, because he needs to be able to sit up on his own, and right now he can't. So we need to fix that tomorrow. And then we'll give it a little lid as well. So that'll be done. And then we'll have to figure out what we want to do next. I have family members submitting requests, because I'll post updates on how the needle felt is going, and everyone's got birthdays coming up, and so they're putting in requests to either 1, steal Mr. Teapot and Dormouse, which they're not allowed, or 2, have one created. So a few options of what I want to do next. My aunt, actually, it's her birthday, and she really likes spiders, so I think it might be kind of cool to try to needle felt a spider. I have a little bit of like kind of like really thin, almost like a flower arranging, like fake flower arranging wire, so I think that might be interesting to try to create legs with. My mom put in a request for a butterfly, so I might need to look at some butterfly options. And yeah. And then of course we still have to finish our mushroom pins, because I finally have my thread. And then I'm always down to make more. They're very cute. I'll have to get some more red wool. So annoyed. I told you guys I went to Hobbycraft the other day to pick up the thread, and I thought maybe I could get some lilac wool roving, but they did not have that color. I believe they did have red though, so if I did need to get more red for little toadstool buddies, that is possible. So that won't be a problem. I was debating doing this pattern on like a kind of oatmeal-y color, because it kind of reminded me of wheat, which is like a really like a big export in Ukraine and is very synonymous. Like there's a lot of wheat symbols and projects using them. But then I realized that the pattern itself has white in it, which is represented by the white Ada. I probably could have just like gone and done like a white over top of it, but also it's a full coverage piece, so then it would be a full coverage piece, so you wouldn't actually see the oatmeal, so I'd kind of just be wasting that color for something. So decided against it. Yeah. because the way that this piece is going to finish, it's kind of bored, like it creates its own little frame, and that'll be the piece alone. And then I might turn it into a patch and sew it onto a jacket. That would be cool. I have a like a khaki green, like they call them shackets. They're like shirt jackets, I guess. Just like a light sort of spring kind of overshirt thing. And my goal is to put the Baba Yaga cross stitch pattern by the Witchy Stitcher on the back of it, and then sort of making it a very like cross stitch embroidery inspirational sort of jacket, like putting things on the sleeves and the cuffs and all that kind of stuff. But I guess I could like double down on this sort of like Slavic Eastern European vibe of it, because obviously Baba Yaga is an Eastern European folk creature, lady boss witch. So yeah, so this would actually accompany that very nicely. So maybe we will do that. Who's to say? Oh, I got some sad news today. Bummed me out. So, there's a woman I follow. I think her art channel, it's called Frankengoop. And she makes really cute, like jewelry and stationery and little stickers that are all very sort of like cutesy, spooky stuff. And she launched a Kickstarter to create this really cute ghost purse that had a little section in it where you could put like pins and stuff. And I backed it. Originally, she did it in like earlier last year, and the payment was gonna finish and come out around Christmas time, and she didn't realize that and was like, shit guys, like I'll cancel that and redo it so that people aren't like, you know, like worried and strung out for Christmas with this like incoming payment coming. So she relaunched it, but then I guess it didn't get as much traction as it did the first time around, and I got an email saying that it didn't reach its booking, so it can't be like the backing amount, so it can't actually be made, which is super annoying because it was super cute and like a decent size. Because I always find like I love purses and like cutesy kitschy bags and stuff, but I'm also an anxious person who has to pack for like the apocalypse. So there's always a lot of shit in my bag, and I've deemed it necessary. So a lot of times the like small little cute bags, like cartoon custom-y bags you get, don't have enough room to store all of the stuff that I would like to put in my bag. Additionally, it's also hard when there's not like a lot of pockets or things internally, because then it just becomes a bottomless pit bag where everything just lives in there and you can't find anything. So I'm very particular about that. But this one seemed like it was going to be a really decent size where I could, you know, prepare for my anxiety apocalypse, but also have a cute, fun, spooky bag. But alas and alack, that is not the case, which is really annoying. So I think in order to keep this nice and clean, I'm not going to stretch across the Aida with this tail end. We're just going to park it and we will start anew. Just to keep her clean and simple. Does require more counting on my part, but essentially I'm just flipping again, so we'll see. There we go. Step 1. Or piece 1. Piece has 2 meanings in this instance. other exciting news. We've made it to, actually, I think, yeah, we've made it to 70 followers, which is wild. I feel like every time I start a new goal, it like gets crushed exponentially. So we'll bump this up. Actually, maybe we get a little bit more advantageous, and we oh no, it's not. Doesn't actually let me. That's interesting. Why can't I? There we go. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try to get to the magical 100 before my birthday. We got 20 days. 20 days till my birthday. So if we can get to that point, that would be a very happy birthday to me. And a merry unbirthday to all of you. If you're into that. So, if we're going to basically mirror this, that means it's going to be 4 down, 3 over, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 on the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 on the third. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 on the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 on the third. Cool. And now we basically, what is it? I don't know what the cheat command is like in Paint or in Pro, where we basically just are flipping the image. That's what we're doing. And then we are gonna do 5 stitches 6 times. Oh, keep it in frame, Tasha. Keep her in frame. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Hopefully this is even. Okay. Oh no, guys, we're going the wrong way. This is not the one we counted for. We are going vertically. Whoops. I was like, wait a second, this doesn't look like it's lined up properly. That's because it's not. Tasha was going the wrong way. Now, I would actually really like to make Petsinka again this year. Especially because I have the tools, right? We have our little kitski. I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong. But one of the things that I noticed here in the UK is that white eggs are not the standard. So usually eggs are brown, which, like, I'm sure we could, but I feel like it would be, I don't know. I don't think they'd turn out very well. I think the Easter eggs would look incredibly muddled if we used brown eggs. So I have to be on the hunt to put some feelers out for actual white eggs, and also sourcing the dye to make them. Because I think that would be a really fun activity to do with people. I don't know if it's too fragile for my nephew to participate in, but he might with some assistance. Yeah, definitely with some assistance, because there's a lot of fire involved. There's a lot of fire involved in making Besenki. So he would need assistance. But I think his dad would be super into it because he is a low-key pyro. He loves fire. Yeah, I think it would be really cool. Especially because it's something that, it's kind of weird. So in Canada, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, in the States as well, but especially in Canada, there's a lot of emphasis on, like, preserving and celebrating your cultural and ancestral heritage. So even though, you know, I was born in Canada and am a Canadian, in Canada, you identify with the culture and places where your ancestors are from, like where they've emigrated from. And so my whole life, especially because my both sets of grandparents on my mom's side are from Ukrainian immigrants. So my grandpa's parents, my great-grandparents, were Ukrainian on my mom's side, my grandpa. And then my grandma, my great-great-grandparents on that side were Ukrainian. So celebrating that ancestral culture was always really emphasized and really celebrated within my family. And even within the town I grew up in, there was a very large Ukrainian Canadian population. We had the garlic festival every year in town that would be in partnership mostly with the Ukrainian Federation of the area. And then we did the Yamarok festival, which was I think it was tied in a little bit with Ukrainian Independence Day. And so, yeah, so we would have like a big great hall, and there'd be a lot of traditional Ukrainian folk dancing that me and my brother actually participated in. So we actually went to, in primary school, went to Ukrainian dance lessons and did that for years. And then even once we stopped, we would still go to the celebration and festivities. It was a super, super sad day when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, mostly because I love pierogies, love pyrohe so much. And it's, luckily, there was a bakery where I lived that made really, really good gluten-free ones. Haven't been able to find even just pyrohe in general in the UK. Like, there's Polish grocery stores and stuff around here that you can get sort of like equivalent. So I really just need to like buckle down and make some, in addition to like finding a gluten-free version. That's basically impossible. So yeah, so I feel like moving to the UK, my identity has been sort of just dissolved into just being Canadian. Like, that is the identity I come here with. So I don't really feel like I've had the ability to really explore and celebrate and take part in the celebration of Ukrainian heritage and ancestry as much since moving here as I did when I was back in Canada. Because, yeah, like here, unless you are unless you are sort of like a first generation immigrant to a place, like, you identify with the place you're born in. So my partner, his granddad is Scottish, and I asked him if he identifies, my partner, if he identifies as being Scottish, and he was like, well, no, I'm British. Whereas in Canada, people even go down, they start listing the percentages, you know what I mean? Like, I'm 75% this, and I'm like, you know, a quarter this, and I'm like 5% this, and whatever. Like, it's a point of pride and interest and topic of conversation. And then even once you find those things out, like, even if you're like 15%, you know, like Irish, Canadians will then be like, that is my cultural heritage identity. I will participate in the traditions and the lore and, you know, the celebrations around that nationality or that culture. Whereas here, not so much. That's not really a thing. So I find that quite interesting. So yeah, it's like very shitty and devastating circumstances where I find myself in a position to be compelled to start celebrating and doubling down on that part of my identity. But I'm thankful that, you know, there is an opportunity to celebrate that more and tap into that more and be more involved in that side. Even if it's just something as silly as doing a cross stitch in solidarity and talking about making pasinka. I'll have to go through and see if my parents, I don't know if they sent me, because my dad's in the process of condensing and collating all of our family photos and is going to give me and my brother like our own based on like family photos and stuff. And I know for a fact that there's pictures of us Ukrainian dancing as kids. And so it'd be really cool to have those and be able to share those with my family here. This is really intense music. I've been battling like on and off with headaches and stuff, so anything that's like super bassy for no reason, I will be on that soapbox talking about it for a while. I'll probably turn it down just a smidge, just more for myself. I know I want you guys to hear it, but I also don't want it to be so loud that it makes my teeth hurt. Oh, this seems like it's gonna be quite lo-fi. Nope, none of that, please. That's all it is. All it is fucking bass taps. All good. I don't know who decided that bass meant chill. Like, there's already a lo-fi channel. Like, that belongs over there. Excuse me. The tea is cold. You okay, bud? Yeah? You're itching your face over there. You alright? Somebody is stirring. It's like a baby, isn't it? You're like, oh, someone's stirring from his nap. Is he gonna start whining? Cool. So now that we're on the right track, this is actually, I say this, I'm like, oh, it's gonna come together really quickly. Famous last words, right? 12 hours later. But this part is, the mirror imaging is interesting. Ray's Crafty Ray's Crafty Cafe. I like that. Hey, how's it going? How is it going? Happy hump day. Happy halfway through the week mark. I hope you're having a fabulous afternoon, evening, early morning, wherever you are in the world. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Started a new project today, so we're making some decent progress on it. Hopefully. Oh. Camera's a little bit not low enough. I don't know if you heard the tippy tappies. My puppo just decided to walk into the other room. I was tired of my shit. Yeah. But yeah, no, very good. Thank you very much. I'm trying a different cross-stitching method, whereas I usually start from the center of a project and work out. Because this is inspired by traditional Ukrainian embroidery, I'm trying to then make it mimic the creation of pasenka, or Ukrainian Easter eggs, where you dye the egg in a variety of colors, starting from lightest to darkest. So in order to mimic that pasenka creation, we are starting with the lightest colors of this pattern and working our way to the darkest, which is different. That means we're going to be jumping a little bit all over the place. It won't just be starting from the center and working out like I usually do. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also infamous for getting really bored when I'm working on the same color over and over again, and I will purposely switch colors, switch directions as a way to keep myself entertained while I'm cross-stitching. So to stick to a color until its completion is different for me. 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but it's a small project, so that will hopefully mean that the turnover rate for floss color will be quick enough that I will push through. And then additionally, this pattern is very like flippable, like it's like each quadrant basically is a mirror image of the other, which I'm hoping means that I will be quicker at it, because it will just hopefully be kind of muscle memory-esque. That is the hope. That is the plan. We will see how that goes. We had a nice bit of sunshine for a couple of days this week, but it looks like it's gonna be gloomy, rainy rest of the week. So sometimes it's nice when I sit down to stream. I get a lot of really nice natural sunlight coming from this window over here, but Mr. Sun is obstructed by many a gray cloud today. So maybe he will come see us another time. Yeah. Looking for new ones. My new face. This is my face. I hope you like it. Yeah. It's good. It's always good to like peruse, look around, shop around for new faces, new ideas, new people. Thanks. I'm glad. Do you stream at all, Ray? Obviously, you have crafty calf in your name, so I'm assuming that either you yourself have a crafty calf or love crafts and calves. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Very cool. If that is the case, let me give you a follow right now. Right meow. Let's check you out. When do you coffee and crafts? Excellent. Love that. I'm the tea side of the craft equation. I'm all about the tea and crafts. There we go. Follow. Perfect. There we go. I know, love meeting and making new crafty friends. Crafty caffeinated friends. I am a morning coffee drinker. I need my daily morning coffee to keep going. But then I switch to tea for the rest of the day. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't know if you would call it crafty calf or cafe. I always find that here, I don't know why, in the UK they don't pronounce the E in cafes. They're just calves, and I'm like pretty sure you pronounce the E at the end of it. So if you do, I'm sorry if I was mispronouncing it. Yeah. Coffee and crafts, tea and crafts. It's like different side of the same coin, isn't it? It's just warm beverages and crafts. That's the best. It's all we want in life. That sounds like a dream come true. Like crafty cafe hybrid situation with like, that sounds like the best. Different sections, different coffee, that sounds so good. I would be number one customer. I would just come and sit and hang out and drink beverages. That'd be a really cool way to meet other crafters, because you would like rock up and go sit in like, you know, like the diamond painting corner, or like the sewing corner or something like that. And then even if you're just there by yourself, someone else could rock up and be like, I'm here to sew too. And then you make friends. I love that idea. I think that would be an excellent idea. Yeah, I have like a tea obsession, so I always, right? We will come work. Absolutely. Though it might be dangerous. I don't know how much work I get done. I just want to craft and drink tea. Like, that wouldn't be, but I guess though, if like people could come, you would have people actually making the tea and coffee, and then maybe you could have people like running classes. So like teaching people, or if they needed help with particular craft, then you would actually be able to get paid to craft. That would be awesome. That would be really cool. Yeah, like different events and stuff. That would be awesome. I always wanted to work in a tea shop. I think that would be really cool. But like not like a Starbucks or something, like a proper actual like tea shop. There was a tea store in the mall near where I lived, and I wanted to work there so bad, and then it closed. And I was like, well, guess I'm never gonna work in a tea shop. But maybe one day. 2, 3, 4, 5. Love that. So, win the lottery and make that happen, please. Make that happen. We need the crafty cafe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you're if there's like a local craft store near you that does stuff like that, because there's a place that like a craft store near us, like near me, that they run different classes for kids and adults, and then you sign up for them. But they don't have a cafe component, which would be amazing. Yeah. That would be really cool. It's a shame, because I know sometimes too, like libraries will sometimes have like activities, but I don't necessarily know if they're like always crafty related. So I mean, so has your daughter then, I guess, inherited your love of crafting? Just story time. Story time is cool, but like also crafts. She's still too young now. That's okay. You'll make a crafter out of her. I bet. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, we are moving on up. Moving on out. Nothing can stop me. Cool. Cool. Okay. Well, enjoy your bestie stream. Enjoy Maud. If you want to drop her link as well in here, and I will follow her too. Because I always like meeting new crafty friends. Just go follow everybody. Follow everybody. All of the friends. Ah! Shadow Stream Supporter Raid! Oh my goodness! It's a raid. It's a raid. Well, hello. Thank you very much for this wonderful raid, Shadow Stream Supporters. That's actually amazing, because my oh, that's fine. I don't know what I won't click on it. I don't know what you posted. It's okay. That's actually hilarious, because my puppy's name is Shadow. So the fact that you guys are Shadow streamers is kind of cool. I feel like it's like my puppy squad. I'm sure you as Shadow are much cooler, but my Shadow is also pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for the streams. Thanks for the support and the raid. I don't know what you guys were up to, but we are crafting over here. We are working on a cross stitch. I'm attempting a different way of cross stitching today, where I'm trying to cross stitch from the lightest colors to the darkest colors instead of my traditional start from the middle and work our way out. So it involves a lot more counting and a lot more like brain strategizing. Can you get raids from Discord? Ooh, that's really cool. A Discord raiding community. That's exciting. That's really cool. Right, so that's awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me and stopping by. Always appreciate that. Guess I'll tell you about myself. My name's Nostalgia Tash. I am a Canadian living in the UK for almost 5 years now. Been streaming since the beginning of the year. We craft. We do cross stitch Tuesdays, even though it's Wednesday. We had to postpone. So we're cross stitching today, but we usually cross stitch Tuesdays and needle felting Wednesdays. Right now we are working on, actually I'll let you know, this is the pattern we are working on today. Whoop! Just chucking my phone places. And then once I park this thread, I will show you. Oh, thank you. I hope the vibes are good. I just want like cozy chill vibes where we craft, we listen to chill music, we drink tea, and we just hang out and be chill. Oh, guys, let me just give shout outs to everybody. So thank you, Ray's Crafty Calf, Bad Boy, Crevazzle, Bunny Mow. Thank you so much for the follows. Yeah, let's just be chill. Chill, drink tea, and hang out and craft and have a great time. Oh. There we go. So, where did I put my other needle? I just lost it. Oh, there it is. Whew! That was scary, guys. That was scary. Okay. So, this is what we're working on right now. And we are drinking tea. I'll show you actually. This is what we're working on Thursday. This is a needle felted teapot and a little dormouse that fits in the teapot. He didn't look like a dormouse last week, but thankfully, luckily, it all worked itself out. So tomorrow we have to finish his butt so that he can sit up on his own, because right now he just falls over. But that's what we're needle felting tomorrow. But today, on Tuesday, but technically Wednesday, we're cross stitching. So yeah, we have tea tokens, cozy tea tokens, if you'd like to redeem those in the chat. What else? Just hanging out, doing the things. Cool. Oh, Naja Aiden, thank you so much. I will definitely join this Discord once I am done with my stream today. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, he turned out all right. Whoop. Other things we have needle felted. We've felted some, this is the right size needle, little like toadstools. Currently the main cross stitch that I'm working on is actually a cryptid themed one, but we're taking a break to work on this Ukraine Solidarity one for a little bit. And yeah, just keeping it chill and cozy. I'm drinking some tea. It's cold now. The tea is definitely cold. And then listening to chill music and just hanging out. So I'm glad you guys are here. Trying to think what else. But that's it. I think I went through it all. Nostalgia Tash, Tuesday, Thursday stream. Today just happens to be a Wednesday, is a hump day. Sometimes shit happens and I end up having to reschedule streams because, you know, life. So life got in the way on Tuesday. So now we're here today. And yeah. So I was explaining the reason I'm trying to do this in order from lightest to darkest floss color, because this is inspired by traditional Ukrainian embroidery. It reminds me and is very similar to pesenka, which is Ukrainian Easter eggs. And as a child, I learned how to make them via this book. And so I found an egg design that mostly mimics what we're trying to accomplish here. And so we're going to follow sort of this color pattern coordination. Because if you take a look at the pattern, it is very similar, just in ways of trying to figure out what colors to do next. But the way that Ukrainian Easter eggs or pesenka embroidery egg decorating works is you get your egg and you get this thing, which is called I always pronounce it wrong, a kitsi, which basically is like this little wooden dowel with like, I want to say it's like copper attached to it. And you heat this up and dip it in beeswax, and the beeswax pools in this little section, and you essentially draw over parts of the egg in beeswax to preserve the design in that specific color before you dunk it in the next dye. If that makes any sense. So if you see here, the way this kind of works is because this is sort of the design you're doing, and you want all of this to be white. So you stick the beeswax all around this, and then you dunk it in the yellow dye. And then anything you want to stay yellow, you then color in beeswax, dunk it in the green dye, do the same thing, etc., etc. And then once everything is the color you want it and is thoroughly beeswaxed, you then hold the whole egg up to a flame, and the beeswax melts, and you wipe all of that off, and then you get a pretty ass Ukrainian Easter egg. So yes, it is a very time consuming and lengthy process, but it looks so pretty afterwards. It's almost like, it's kind of meditative. It's a little bit scary when you first start, because if you hold it too hard, like, you might break the egg. So you gotta be real careful. But yeah, so that's why I'm trying to mimic that process on this cross stitch, because it's in similar color, style, design. So instead of starting from the center and working out, we're going to start with the lightest color and work our way to the darkest color. So I'm going to be jumping around all over the cross stitch, which will require more counting than I usually do. Also, hi Bob X. Sorry, I was in spiel mode. I was in explanationing mode. How are you? I hope you're having a fabulous hump day. Happy Wednesday. It is a very lengthy process, but it's really cool. I would like to hunt down some white eggs and then perhaps make Ukrainian Easter eggs this year with the fam. Spread the just cultural joy and celebration. I was mentioning previously, like, in Canada, yes, you're Canadian, but there's like an emphasis on embracing and celebrating the cultures that your ancestors like came from and places where people had emigrated to, because obviously outside of Indigenous populations, everybody from Canada is an immigrant, historically, culturally. So the emphasis is always on like what part of the country those people came from. So when people ask me in Canada where I'm from, I then list off, you know, the places that my grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on emigrated from. Whereas now, as an immigrant to the UK, I am Canadian, and that's essentially it. So there isn't really an emphasis or like a yeah, it's not a thing to like explore historical, ancestral, cultural, like traditions and practices and things like that. It kind of just are like, this is me outside of this. So under extremely shitty and terrible circumstances, I'm appreciating the ability to get to explore and celebrate and honor that cultural, historical side of myself, because that's something that hasn't really happened since I moved here. But yeah, so that's what's happening here. I also have, you can obviously see in the title, if you want to look up Stitch or resources, there's some Google Docs floating around the internet with different resources for people who want to support the people in the Ukraine, and there's also support for people in the Ukraine that need it. And then there's also a Google Doc that somebody has created with all of the Ukrainian cross-stitch artists and their websites, their Etsy's, things like that. So if you want to buy patterns from them, support people with sort of digital sales that can't necessarily make income with tangible items at this time, that's another way to do that. So we have different options for you. And we're just doing this. I was optimistically thinking and saying that because this pattern is sort of like mirror images of each other, that I will very quickly whip this out. I don't know. I'm really infamous for like misjudging how long it takes me to do things. Just story of my life. So my goal is to finish all of the yellow portions of this pattern today on stream with you. So that is the plan. So we have, you know, these sections of a star, and then there's a few kind of squiggly lines and some circles. It's the best way I can describe it. And so yeah, we're gonna do that. Also super exciting. So we started stream with 70 followers. We're now at 74. My birthday is in 20 days. So if we can get to 100 by my birthday, that would just be the most magnificent birthday present, you guys. That would be a fabulous birthday present. But no pressure, no worries. I'm just accepting and grateful and happy and glad for any little bit of love and support. Because, yeah, why not? We're all just out here doing our best, guys. All just out here doing our best. Trying to, you know, do good in the world. And craft and drink tea and be happy. That's all I want in life. Hi, Nde. Long time no chat. How you been? I hope you're having a fabulous hump day. I hope you've been doing tons and tons of beautiful, colorful yarn weaving recently. Yarn spinning. Spinning's the correct term. We are out here. Welcome to Cross Stitch Tuesdays on a Wednesday. That happens a lot. Well, happens sometimes. We do Cross Stitch Tuesdays, which sometimes get deferred to Wednesday, and then we do Needle Felting Thursdays, which sometimes get deferred to Fridays. But we just all out here doing the things. Oh, I guess the ninja raid has come and gone. Hopefully they're off raiding some other fabulous, lovely people. That was nice. It's always nice. Ooh, ooh. Oh no. Oh. Sending you spoons. That sucks. I can feel that. When your body decides that it wants to take all of your energy from you, and there isn't any for fun things like crafts. That's frustrating. Sending you healing spoon vibes. Sending you spoons and healing love. I feel like, I don't know if it, because there was somebody who told me like that they always, like, stuff kind of always arises for them sort of around like season changes and stuff. And I've been like in a bit of a funk lately too, from like other things going on and stuff. But you just kind of wonder how much like different environmental factors come into stuff. That's frustrating. That's really annoying when, like, to get a good doctor just seems to be rarer and rarer these days. And it's like, if you're in a position where you have, like, no spoons left to give, the amount of effort and energy it takes to follow up with people that are supposed to be getting back to you must be incredibly frustrating. I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that. I hope they get back to you soon and you don't have to chase them, because that shouldn't be a responsibility that you need to undertake. Yeah, I find that I really lucked out for whatever reason. Like, when I moved here, the practice I got into just seems to be really responsive. But we moved recently and my partner couldn't register at the same doctor as me. And then, like, I don't know, for some reason where he's registered, they're just absolutely, like, so unresponsive. Just like you know, just their client care, ability to explain what's going on and stuff is just really terrible comparatively. Wow. Yeah. That's good that you have your mom to sort of advocate for you when you're not, like, in sort of the mental, physical position to do that. Because that's really good. I'm glad your mom has your back. That's really good. Okay. I believe now we've finished this side. So now we've got to do the next one. Just realized something over top of that, but all good, all good. Yeah. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go, and then the portion of our star is complete. Yeah, that's dumb. Was it one of those, like, I guess it depends on the therapist, but at the same time, like, they shouldn't have just been like, maybe not. They should have, like, referred you to, like, a grief counselor or something. Because, like, I know when I was, last time I spoke with I spoke with a therapist, and it's, like, sometimes you're not in the headspace to, like, put things in place, like, to do things, but then it's, like, that doesn't mean you don't want any kind of therapy. It's that you need a different one at this time. And she shouldn't have just been like, no, okay, bye. Like, that's stupid. And I'm sure too, like, it probably, like, the thing that always pisses me off about, like, the mental health care system is, like, you're in a difficult position, or, like, in maybe a crisis position, or you're anticipating that. So you're like, okay, I would like to put myself forward for some support. And then they're kind of like, well, unless you're actively trying to harm yourself, there isn't really anything for you. And you're like, I'm trying to put myself in a position so that I don't have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of like, okay, I'm trying to prevent myself from being in a shitty situation by trying to come see you before that happens. And they're like, because that's not happening, we can't help you. And you're like, the fuck? Yeah. Or it's like you get referred to somebody and then it's like 6 months later and I'm like, okay, well, like with me, especially because like I have generalized anxiety. So what I am currently anxious about, by the time you come to like provide me with counseling, I could have a whole new set of problems. Like I have a whole new set of things that I need to work on. And then that could require something totally different. But sure. That's really frustrating. Yeah, it could take a few months. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, I'll just, you know, try my best. Because even too, like, sometimes you even have, like, private insurance coverage. So, like, we had partial coverage for something through my partner's work, but even that still took time. And so it's like, if that even took time, I can't even imagine, like, if you go through, like, free or sliding scale services, there's just not enough. So you're just like, cool, I'm just gonna twiddle my thumbs and hope shit doesn't get worse until you get back to me. Like, hi, Dej. Wave, wave. Hello, hello. I hope you're having a happy hump day. 2, 3, 4. Let's check. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 5th. 2, 3, 4 on the 5th. Welcome to Cross Stitch Tuesday on a Wednesday. Yeah. I just realized I haven't folded this over. Is it very rainy out there today? Luckily, when I took Shadow for a walk, we seem to have avoided most of it, which is good. I'm like forgetting how to do things right now. Okay. You know when you stare at something and you're like, wait, that's not right. What did I do wrong? Now I remember, I didn't do my loop start. That explains things. Hopefully you either dry off on the bus ride home. They've like cranked the heat. You can like sit near a heater or something. Or, you know, just get all nice and toasty when you get in. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Yeah, I did just have a brain fart moment. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the thing that people don't realize. Like, when you have, like, chronic illnesses, whether they be physical or mental or anything like that, like, just how much it takes out of you. And it's, like, trying to find something that helps you reset, even if it's just for like a little bit. And I don't, like, unfortunately, like, it does, you know, it's not a one size fits all. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, have you tried this, have you tried that, because I'm sure you're like, yeah, bitch, obviously. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? So I really hope your doctor gets back to you so that you can even just like know that there's a process that's happening. And like, even if it's just kind of knowing like, okay, they haven't forgotten about me, they're aware of what's going on, we're gonna move forward and try to just get things ticking along. Because half the time it's like the sitting around waiting that's not helpful, right? Trying to send you all the healing love and vibes. I think according to this pattern, actually, this is like probably not the most helpful, but according to this pattern creator inspired by Ukrainian embroidery designs, yellow stands for well-being, joy, and vital energy, and the creation of a star serves as protection from disease and evil. So in stitching this, I am sending you protecting energy, vitality, vibes. That's what I'm hoping. So we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, because I'm not versed in like what the process and like the tests and things you would need to do in order to get sort of like compensation and things. Because I know in Canada my brother had to like basically he got diagnosed when he was a child, but then in order to sort of get the diagnosis as an adult, he had to go through and do like a bunch more tests and stuff to then get like an official sort of recognition. But yeah, that's the thing too. Like, it's so, the thing that's also really frustrating too is I'm sure like you've probably found it where like you find something that works and it works for a while and then it suddenly stops working because maybe like your body chemistry have changed, your circumstances have changed, like what's going on has either progressed or gotten better or whatever, and then the thing doesn't work anymore. And you're like, well shit, now what? Like, you just feel like you're kind of starting again from scratch. So whether or not it's like upping a medication, switching medications, you're basically just like, I don't know, like just trial and erroring, being like, does it still suck? Less so, more so? Yes, no? Okay, on to the next one. Yeah. Hopefully too, because if you or your mom's able to bring up like wanting to go through the process of getting a diagnosis, because I'm sure that probably has a wait list up the asshole as well, like, so probably like making them aware of it will at least hopefully start the process, and then while you're sorting out one thing, then that's sort of ticking along as well. Yeah. Yeah, I know in Canada for like for autism diagnoses it's very similar. That's something that my friend's going through with her little one. I think that should just be, it's kind of like a rule of thumb, with any sort of diagnosis. It must be like regardless of where, it's sort of like it'll take a year. It'll take a year. It'll take a year. Ooh, got into roller skating. Very cool. I feel like I'm not even that old, but it's like I went through a phase. I went through a time where I grew up. Yeah, oh, the rain's the worst. Is it like they're not like inline skates, yeah, they're like the proper like 4x4 wheel ones. I don't know if you've ever seen is it called Whip It? The movie about like roller derby. Yeah. That one's on like a racetrack, but there was like a year or so, maybe a couple years of my life where I was actually in a roller derby league. Mostly because my friend was like, let's try out and do this thing. And I was like, sure, I have zero athletic ability whatsoever, but it seems cool. Like, let's try it out. I didn't last very long in it. Like, I think I joined a team, had one bout, got, like, smashed around a bit too much, and was like, not for me. But the people were super chill. They're really cool. Oh. That's really cool. I like that. Wonder if there's any around here. I would love to do like roller rink. I think that would be awesome. Even rink skating. That was always a big thing too in my hometown. Like the local arena would do like Saturday family skates and you just go and skate in circles for an hour. And then I think at the halfway point they would like set a buzzer and then you would like, everyone would switch directions just so that like one leg wasn't like more sore than the other. But that's really cool. Did they actually? Wow. I could see that happening. I wonder, do you know if it was like a raised track or a flat track? Because raised track seems so dangerous. Oh, you bring him rollerblading? Or roller skating? That's really cute. Does he know how to ice skate? Does he have like the little, you know, like the little scooter walkers that you use to help like push yourself along? I like that. Tries to push like he's on his scooter. That's probably a decent tactic. You know what I mean? Like if you just have one foot straight and then the other one is doing all the pushing off, you would creep away. Good for him. I like that. Like I haven't skated in a hot minute, so I don't know how well my balance would be. I might need one of those little strollers to keep myself upright. Ooh, yep, Cool helmets are a must. I love that. He probably, does he wear that when he's like on his scooter too? He probably looks like such a baller. Your kid sounds really cool. He probably, does he have light up shoes too? Because I feel like that just completes the outfit. Every 5-year-old needs a mohawk helmet and some light up shoes. Gotta go fast. Yup, Coolest kid on the block. Love it. I remember having a Razor scooter. Thought it was so cool. I'm actually surprised like how big scooters are right now. Like they've made like an absolute insurgence. I feel like bikes were like the huge thing and like trikes and stuff, but like most of the time I see kids like when they're coming home from school and things on scooters. The best is when you're like walking around early and you see kids that are like parents that have obviously dropped their kids off and the kids wanted to scoot to work and then the parents have to carry it home like down the block, and I was like, oh, you dropped your kid off somewhere because you're carrying the scooter home. Yeah, blades are different. I had blades when I was younger, but yeah, I feel like those feel scarier to me than quads. Be interesting. You should find them and put them on and see how it goes. You don't know that. We'll just give you all, you just need all the pads. I remember when I started like skating, actually, to be fair, even for derby though, we needed them regardless for safety reasons. It was like helmet, wrist guards, elbow guards, knee pads, all of the things. All of the things to stay safe. What? The favorite is home. Shadow always like is asleep and then hears the door and he like jostles himself awake and hauls ass downstairs. Ooh, do it. That's really cool. Yeah, you can really, like, especially with the quad skates, you can really, like, pimp them out. You can do, like, toe guards, and you can do all sorts of things. Oh, my goodness. Dragon Armory, hello, hello. Coming to visit little old me. Thank you so much. Get rated, yo. Thank you. Hello, hello. Oh, my goodness. Gang's all here. Hope you're having a fabulous tea-filled Wednesday. Happy hump day. Welcome to Cross-Stitch Tuesday on a Wednesday, because, you know, life happens. I hope you're having a fabulous day. It goes good. It goes very good. We are working on a new pattern today. I'll show you guys. We have this pattern happening so you can actually see what it looks like. So yeah, we started a new pattern and I'm attempting to do something a little bit different because usually when I cross stitch, I start from the inside out. That's the easiest way to do. I jump around to whatever color I want, how I feel, because I get bored easily. But because this pattern is inspired by Ukrainian traditional embroidery, which is also very similar to Ukrainian pasenke, which is a Ukrainian Easter egg, I'm trying to do it in the way that I would be dyeing a Ukrainian Easter egg. So you do it from lightest color to darkest color. So I have this book from my childhood, Decorating Ukrainian Easter Eggs, that has different designs in them. And basically what you do is you sort out your design and you take this thing called a kitski, which is like this little dowel that's kind of made out of copper, and you light this on fire essentially. You heat it up and you plunge it into beeswax and it fills this little hole with beeswax, and you draw on the egg, and then you draw on the egg and that seals in the color you want. So, for example, here you start with white and you use your thing and you beeswax all over it, and then you dye it this color, beeswax, dye the colors from lightest to darkest, and then you end up with something like that. So, because I don't have an egg or dye, I do have beeswax and I do have this, but we don't have the right eggs. We're going to mimic that via cross stitch. So we're starting with the lightest and going to the darkest, which requires more counting than usual because I'm not relying on the cross next to the previous color to keep going. So because this is a small piece, I'm hoping that I can stick it out in this style and not get bored, because usually what happens is I pick a color and then I go in another direction. I'll pick another color just, you know, to keep myself visually amused. But not today. We're focused. We're doing something different. I'm all out of tea, actually, now that you've mentioned it. I was drinking Smuggler's Brew, was a black tea from Cornwall. It's cold now. It's in my favorite mug. I needed the extra caffeine for the day. How was your stream? What were you guys making? What were you working on? All good things. All cool things. I think you're booting up. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to do cool things. If anyone's interested as well, there's some Google Docs going around with some different resources and some different artists that you can support if you would like. Yeah. So my goal is to try to finish all of the yellow pieces of this pattern for today. Despite the fact that it's a tiny stitch, I still probably overemphasized how quickly I'm gonna complete the things. So I always assume that something's not gonna take as long as it does. So hopefully we're in a good position. Yeah, weapon, right? The trifecta, the Dragon Armory trifecta. I noticed on Instagram that I think you're like are you booting up a resin printer? Are you making anything exciting on that? I'll lurk away, Deja. My partner has a PLA printer. His goal, he wants a resin one, but we don't have a place in the house that we can temperature control. Perfect. I will post project pics. Thank you so much, Armory. Go eat some food, refuel so you can craft another day. Huzzah, huzzah. Yeah. Was it TTFN? Ta-ta for now. Talk to you later. We will do some updates. Very exciting. Love it. Coinage. One day. It's on my partner's bucket list. Resin printer. Once we can create a temperature controlled environment. Yeah. I feel like that was something that Tigger used to say on Winnie the Pooh. TTFN, ta-ta for now. And then you'd hop away. Evening, Earthlings. Hello, Nathan. Yes, Nungday, please link to kiddo skating. I want to see cute kids doing cute shit. Always, always, always. How you doing, Nathan? How's your stream? Are you still world touring? World touring? Aviation touring? Let me see. It's gonna take a million years to load. Probably be faster if I loaded it on my computer instead. Oh, that's fair. I feel ya. Some days you're just like, meh. He's scooting! That helmet is the best. I love it so much. Your kid has a very awesome sense of style. Does he pick out his own clothes? You know, some kids, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I was one of those kids. Actually, I was told, because in kindergarten, I used to rock up to school in like my dress-up clothes. And my mom worked for Mary Kay at one point, so I think sometimes I would rock up in dress-up clothes with like bright red lipstick. And I found out that one of the primary school teachers used to call me her little bag lady, because I guess I just looked like a mess, but like I was a free spirit doing my own thing. So, you know what happens. Okay. Oh, Dread Pirate Dan, thank you so much for the follow. I don't know if I clocked that earlier. Yes. Yeah, I feel you, Nathan. Just some days, you're like, nah. Guess when that happens, you gotta like switch it up. Gotta find a game or find a thing that you enjoy. But I also feel like some days are just not the day. That was me yesterday. I was like, nope. My brain hijacked itself. I got hijacked by the anxiety monster and was like, nope, not today. So that's why we're celebrating Cross Stitch Tuesday on a Wednesday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do one more. Despite the fact that It is already 5:30. We still made pretty good progress. I think because I spent the first like hour of stream just kind of like shooting the shit and not getting down to business. We are getting down. What is it? Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. It's like, you have to. Like, as soon as somebody says, like, let's get down to business, if you don't finish that sentence, you're obviously not a product of, like, 90s, 2000s Disney culture, are you? I feel like people even who aren't, like, know that that's just what you have to do. It's an unwritten rule. The unwritten let's get down to business rule. To defeat the Huns. Still blows my mind that the singing voice of Shang Li in Mulan was Donny Osmond, who's, like, the whitest guy ever. Like, that was unnecessary. They could have found somebody. Also, still a little bit low-key mad that, you know, the live-action version didn't have music or Mushu, but it was still good. It was decent. It was still an enjoyable film, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Random animal noises in the music. All good, all good. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's. Okay, good. Part of me was like, oh shit, I thought I finished up here, and was like, that's awkward, but I was smart and put it in the right place. So we will do this. D-so-way. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. It's like I'm in like a stitching trance. I'm just like staring at it, like counting and all that stuff. All that jazz. Let's just. My foot's falling asleep. In order to like have proper posture, so my arms are like parallel to my desk, I have to have my chair raised so my feet dangle. So I need like a little footstool. Right now I'm just using my embroidery thread, like floss boxes to elevate my feet, but should get like a proper, I need like a crafting stool Just like a little crafting footrest. Well, 75. Very exciting stuff. What is it? We have. Okay, gonna do some maths because I don't want to use my brain. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have put maths. I should have put calculator. So, we're at 75 now, which gives us 25 more, and my birthday is in 20 days, so 1.25 followers every day until my birthday, and we'll get to a hundo. Can't do 1/4 of a follow, so if we do 1-ish every stream. Oh no, it would have to be more than one. Listen, maths. That's every day. 25. How many streams do I have until my birthday? 25 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5, right? Yes. Quick math, maybe. Might be fun. Might actually do a birthday stream. That might be cool. If I did that, what would y'all like to happen? Because I feel like it needs to be special. It can't just be like, you know, my run-of-the-mill crafting stream. It has to be something exciting, like birthday worthy. But I don't know what that would be. Because to be honest, like, I'll probably just be doing the same thing I would normally be doing on my birthday, which is drinking tea and doing crafts. So, yeah, I don't know. Do something super amazeballs. Yeah, no worries, Nathan. You can lurk away, helping out in Farming Sim. What are you helping with if you are around? Just getting stuff sorted. Are you helping to tend to the livestock, sort out some crops? Just driving tractors. Can you drive can't talk. Can you drive tractors in Farming Sim? I feel like that's what I would want to do. I'd be so unhelpful. Grass work. Yeah, I feel like if I was a part of someone's Farming Sim, I'd just be like petting all the animals and just driving the tractor around. My grandparents actually lived on an acreage for years, and that was one of the things that my cousin, like, without fail always did, was just ride the lawnmower. Because obviously living on an acreage, you needed a lot of space to mow. Can't just use one of those push mowers. So they had one of those ride-on ones, like a John Deere or something. So, well, some of my other cousins were riding all of, like, the quads and the go-karts and stuff around the property. He was like, lawnmower, please. Need a little bit of a sugary pick-me-up. I love the Swedish berries bag is right beside the mic, so I'm sure all you guys hear is like aggressive rustling. Oh, plastic bag. My apologies. It's probably not the most interesting sound. I'll stay in frame. Sneaking Rhea, thank you so much for the follow. We're now at 76. Very exciting. Love it. That's also a cool name too. Makes me feel like you're like a ninja. You're like sneaking about, lurking about. You're like the queen, king, lurker. Right, Dash? Whoop whoop. 76. Every follow gets us one step closer to 100. Oh, almost got too far. Almost went too far. Wait a second. That's too far. Guys, I got so distracted. I was so excited. This is only ever supposed to be 5. We must frog. Didn't I say that because this is basically a mirror image, that I would just be able to, you know, second nature this shit? Apparently not. Apparently not. That is annoying. That's okay though. We will get just as easily back to where we started. Slowly but surely. Don't know why. It just, that, like, me saying that just slowly reminded me of the side-scrolling game Darkest Dungeon. Forget what one of the things, it's kind of like slowly. Something. This is how a life is taken. Miss that game. Should play that game. I haven't played it in a while, actually. Actually, a lot of games I haven't played in a while. There's games that I've, like, procured that I have yet to actually play. I did start playing the other day, finally. Oh, no. This is when I parked, too. That's bull shrimp. What did I play the other day? We Happy Few. That's the one I'm working on right now. See, this gets complicated because that one was actually a finish. And now I'm thinking that this was going in this direction, and now we need to... Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. We need to do some surgery on this shiz. Because we started another thread in a section that we need to frog. So we need to remove this loop stitch from existence and start again somewhere else. There we go. Goodbye, sir. There we go. Now that can... And we'll park this back here again, and then hopefully we will make no more silly mistakes for the rest of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Wonder if it's because it's almost 6 o'clock and I'm getting like hangry. My stream stamina is still not very high. Like everybody who streams for like 8 hours, like how? Tell me your secrets. Because after like 2, I start low-key losing my mind. My brain just... The stamina is not there. We're working on it though. There we go. Park that using our friend, Mr. Threader. I'm relying on him a lot more. Usually I would faff about and like squint and try to, you know, don't got time for that today. Ain't nobody got time for that. So now we will start again. It's a loop stitch. Excuse me. Just casually throwing my needle everywhere. It's all good. Okay. Okay, so I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna finish the points on this star, and then we're gonna have to call it, because I think, again, the sun is down, and if you know me, and I've stated, once the sun goes down, my brain shuts off. My brain essentially turns to mush, and things stop coming easily to me. So, for my sanity, as well as yours, we will finish these quadrants, and then off stream I will finish all of the remaining yellow portions. So then next week we can move on to the green section of the pattern, which actually isn't that much, so we'll probably, I say that, but it's not as much, so we will move on to the next color afterwards, which I believe will be red. Yeah, red and then blue and then the final black. In that order. So we are doing a technical challenge. Despite this being a small pattern, we are doing something different technically in order to make sure we are stitching with the greatest intent, and we are channeling all of the healing, supportive vibes out into the world. One, two, three, four, five. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let him go again. Okay, this is like speedy video game music now, so let's use that to our advantage. 4, 5. Here we are with the bass heavy lo-fi stuff. Can anyone else who suffers with headaches and migraines, can you either prove or disprove my theory that chronic migraine or headache sufferers are not a fan of bassy lo-fi music? Because it hurts our brains. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. We are speeding through. Boom. Oh, no, not preemptive. Too early for the boom. Okay. There we go. Boom. That is done. Okay. So I think, yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock. It's been almost 3 hours. Well, it's been over 3 hours. We've put in some good work, friends, team, gang. But I believe that my eyeballs are feeling the strain, feeling the squinty strain. So I think we are going to end it today, but oh no, it's gonna start soon. No, we'll sneeze that. Let us raid somebody. Are any of our friends? Oh, MakerBug is streaming. She is fabulous. Let us go hang out with her. All right, we get ready to go. Thank you guys so much. We will be back again tomorrow. We are going to be doing our needle felting. We will be heading over, well, we're going to be creating the rest of him. We need to sort this booty out so he can sit on his own. So that's what we will be doing next stream. So yeah, oh, no one's interested in raiding. Interesting. I don't think this has ever happened to me before. Okay, well, maybe we just call it then. Yeah. Okie dokes. Thanks, gang. We will chat tomorrow. Thank you to all my new followers. I'm so glad you're here. See y'all tomorrow at 3 p.m. GMT. And we'll do some needle felting. Thank you so much. Bye.